All right, so we've been talking about the number 1 and 2, and so right now I want you to go get your Go Math book and a pencil, your dry erase board, and a dry erase marker. Go ahead and get those things and then come back. If you need to pause it, then do so. If you already have them, then great. I'm going to go ahead and get started. So if you need to pause me, just pause the video and then you can go get those things and come right back. All right, so we talked about the number 1 and 2 yesterday. You know that if I have one thing, one counter, one object, then that is represented by a number that looks like this. It's a straight line down is the number 1 from top to bottom. You just trace it on your page. On page 17, you're going to need your pencil to trace the number 1 on your page. And then it has the number word, O-N-E is the number 1. So you're going to trace the number 1 and its number word. Then we're going to talk about the number 2. So the number 2 is represented by 2 dots, 2 things, is represented by a number that looks like this. It's the 2, it's half a heart and then a shoe, 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 half a heart and then a shoe makes the number 2, and one last time, half a heart and then a shoe. And then for the number word 2, you're going to trace T, W, O, and that spells 2. So you should have that all complete on your page. I'm going to go ahead and erase it because we're going to move on to the next page. All right. And then on the next page, it's going to want you, let me get my pointer back. It's going to want you to do the same thing. I want you to go ahead and trace the numbers 1 and all the numbers 2. Remember, when you write the number 2, you're going to start at the top and curve it to the bottom like you do half a heart and then give it a shoe. Number 1 means one thing, and 2, the number 2 is 2 things. So you have one counter here, and you're tracing that number. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. If you need to pause it while you write those numbers, then you can do that. But if you're good, we're going to move on. So if on this part, you're going to want to do 2 cubes. So you're going to trace half a heart and then a shoe, half a heart and then a shoe, half a heart and then a shoe. Keep doing that for the number 2. That helps you practice feeling what the number 2 feels like. Be sure that you don't flip it backwards, that you should be keeping your pencil on these gray dotted lines, starting at the blue dot and going all the way to the end of the arrow. All right, and then right here you have how many things of paint? 1, good job. So you're going to write what number right here? The number 1. So I'm going to go ahead and get my pen and I'll help you. Write the number 1. And then right here you have how many paintbrushes? 2, right. So we're going to write what number? The number 2. So half a heart and then a shoe. Whew, that was a crooked 2 for Miss Mitchell. So I'm going to go ahead and erase what I've written. You leave yours in there. I'm just erasing so it doesn't show up on my next slide. All right, so the next page, I'm not going to make you write these. You can write them in your Go Math book if your parent thinks you need extra practice using a pencil to write the numbers 1 or 2. But this page you're not going to do in your book. I'm going to put this on our Schoology page for you to fill in which number matches which thing. And so you'll submit that on Schoology. So you're only going to be doing these 2 pages that we did together today. 17 and 18 should be finished. And then 19 you're not going to do.